It's an ancient custom to place earth on top of the casket. And so we do have it right now. If you would like to place earth, you can either do it, do a small token handful, or use the cup to place it on top of the casket. And if you fill in the Star of David, it doesn't run off as much. So if you would like to place earth, it's not a punishment if you don't do it. But if you'd like to place earth, we encourage you to do it now. And Kelly will be standing there with the earth if you want. And if you want to use gloves, you can use gloves.
If you use the bowl, use gloves.
Oh no, actually there's a little flag here. Oh, there's, yeah, don't you put it on that. One of the traditions in Judaism is to make sure that our loved ones are accompanied to their final resting place. And you are the ones who have accompanied her to her final resting place, and she is part of what all of you have become. And with the children and the grandchildren, she is part of your RNA and DNA. And hopefully you see some of the kindness and the zest for life in your own life that you have, and part of it is because of what Barbara has given you. This is a very, very peaceful courtyard, and sometimes you can hear the birds singing. But the predominant sound that you hear right now is of a busy freeway, of people, of going and doing and schlepping, as they say. And that's why, as Jews, we don't tarry long. We don't spend a lot of time at the cemetery. But we pay our respects, and we go on and live and carry the unfinished goals and tasks and dreams that Barbara would have for you. She's being placed now next to Stuart, who spent a wonderful life together, and she is also being missed now by Jeffrey, who meant so much to her for these last 17 years, and as Jerry, I'm sorry, we're having a heck of a time with names today. For Jerry, who would love to sign up for another 17 years and do it all over again. So there are wonderful tributes to her, and we hope and pray that the tributes today and the shared messages will do honor unto Barbara. But you can't summarize a whole life in an hour, or in 2 hours, or in 2 days. But what we can do is get these little nuances, and I hope that the grandchildren are inspired by what they hear, and also by what they experienced with her in their own lifetime. Esainai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri me'im Adonai osei shamayim va'aretz. We lift our eyes into the hills. From where does help come? May help come from God, who's made both the heaven and the earth. That force does neither sleep nor slumber. May that force be a shade upon their right hand. May it not smite us by day nor the moon by night. May God watch over all of us when we go out and come into life from this time forth and forevermore. Jews have lots of questions usually. And we do a Google search or a Yahoo search or at my age a WebMD search frequently on our tablets. But the tablets that Moses gave us don't answer any questions. They are basically 10 statements and implores us how to behave, how to act, how to treat one another. So one of the questions was, Esainai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri, Ezri me'im Adonai osei shamayim baretz. We lift our eyes into the hills. Where does help come from? It comes from God who's made both the heaven and the earth. That force does neither sleep nor slumber. May that force help us when life is difficult. So, we have the birds. So there is that sense of peace and quiet and serenity. Ecclesiastes said life wasn't always going to be wonderful. Good times don't last long enough. Miserable times, thank God, don't last forever. But there are times and seasons for everything that's about to happen to us. There's a time to be born, and that's followed by a time to die. A time to plant, a time to uproot, a time to tear down, and a time to build up. But now is a time for some tears. You must be encouraged to laugh again. Now is a time for grief. May you be encouraged to hug your loved ones. For everything there is a season. There's a time for every experience under the heavens. And as you know, time is really important because with the rising and the setting of the sun, there goes another day. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, may Barbara be in your thoughts. When you're weary in need of strength, may her memory fortify you. So long as her family lives, she lives because she's so much a part of what all of you have become. So I'd like to first call upon Jeff to share some of his thoughts with us now.
Good morning. Mom, I never got a chance to say goodbye to you. That's something that'll always stay with me, so I would like to do so now. Mom, you raised 3 strong, independent, healthy children. Speaking for myself, I always thought I lived a magical life when I was a child because we had 2 sets of friends. Our friends that lived near us in Cheviot Hills, and our friends we spent every summer with in Newport Beach. Even though our family was small, I felt like we had a large extended family of aunts, uncles, cousins because of your long-standing friendships that dated back to UCLA. Our childhood was filled with fun family memories. I always appreciated how you introduced and gave us appreciation for art and music. We went to countless plays, musicals, and concerts when we were still very young. We traveled to Europe and Hawaii and many trips to Mammoth where we all skied together. It seems like yesterday when the entire Newport crew started all going to Palm Desert together over Memorial Day weekend, where I learned to love and play tennis. You made our childhood fun and exciting. I have tried to emulate some of those practices with my family. Our family trips are the highlight of my adult life. I hope my kids walk away thinking their childhood was magical too. You were always dressed elegantly. I cannot remember a time when you looked disheveled. You were funny and smart and had great intuition about people and circumstances. You were fiercely loyal to your friends, and they were to you. I will always remember that you had more shoes than Imelda Marcos. It's rumored that Neiman Marcus is flying their flags at half-staff in your honor. You were a creature of habit. If I asked to meet you for lunch on a Saturday, it had to be in Beverly Hills, and it had to be after your nail and hair appointment, even though we both lived in the valley. You were blessed to have 2 great partners in your life. Some never find one. First was our dad, Stuart, who you made a great team with. After we lost our father at such a young age, you probably thought you'd never find love again. only to later meet another great man in Jerry. Jerry and his family embraced you for the past 17 years. I'm happy you found love, and my heart breaks for Jerry. So I'll finish by saying, Mom, that I love you, and I hope you're dancing with Stuart wherever you are, and one day I'll see you in the future.
Susie?
Bear with me, I usually cry at these things. All the time. Thank you, Mom.
Can you step up closer, Susie?
Okay. This could be bad. Okay. Thank you, Mom. My strength and resilience, my independence, and tenacity to pursue my dreams. These qualities come from you. I look back on my childhood and I'm overwhelmed with appreciation for the wondrous opportunities you and Dad gave me. Museum visits, art classes, music lessons, and theater outings, especially those theater outings. Such an inspiration, as were the family trips. And I am grateful you instilled in me a love of books. They, like everything else you shared, fed my soul and helped guide me to who I've become. Growing up with great conversations around the dinner table activated my mind and drove a desire to be a good storyteller. And I loved sharing stories with you, whether they were from my travels, the interesting people I'd met, the successes I'd earned, and the discoveries I've made. This love of stories was started at that dinner table. Best of all, you surrounded me with an extended family of wonderful friends who adored you and by extension made us feel truly special. You were lucky in love. You have the most wonderful sense of humor. I know if you were still here, we would be laughing after this. Thank you for all you did. You will be the voice in my head forever. I will miss you always.
Eileen?
Mom, I can't believe that you are gone. I am not ready to say goodbye. I don't think I realized till today all the different ways you impacted and inspired my life. I should have told you that. I should have been there more. And now that you are gone, I will tell you now. You were my first crush. Young, buck-teeth, tragic pixie haircut, orthopedic shoe-wearing me watched my glam mom in awe. I remember sitting at the kitchen table doing my homework on Anchor, watching you talk to your girlfriends on the phone, one after another. No call waiting at that time, just long conversations. The phone cord stretched the length of the kitchen while you prepared dinner. This happened every day. And it wasn't just a girlfriend thing. There were a dozen or so couples, and you all moved like a herd. There was the tennis group, the gourmet club, the pan and poker evenings at our house, the costume parties, and the summers in Newport where I would sit in the sand near your chair so I could listen to the stories and the fun. There were weekends in Mammoth and Memorial Day trips to the desert, and just like that, without ever telling me, you showed me the value of friendship, how to be a great friend, how to show up every day for those that mean the most to you. You taught me that friends are family, and the most important thing you can give them is your time. What a gift. I also learned about style from you. I loved sitting on your bed when Hisa came over to alter your clothes. I learned that well-fitting clothes, no matter the label, look expensive, that a good shoe needs Arturo, that it's better to buy less and spend more, and when my peers were buying dittos at the surprise store, I was secretly hanging out in your closet trying on your purchases from Allen Austin. What middle schooler does that? I will also say that I saw you mellow around the whole retail therapy part of life, and after Dad died, and especially over these last 17 years with Jerry, the thrill of a new purchase gave way to other pleasures. A great day for you was one spent on the golf course with Jerry, having one of your favorite sandwiches for lunch, and a late afternoon of NCIS. I love that. And that is a valuable lesson for me too. Finally, you were lucky to share your life with two incredible men that loved you deeply, shared your passion for friends, family, and experience. You were devoted to them, showered them with your love, and enriched their lives. That focus and attention on your man is yet another lesson, and as Bob and I approach 35 years, it's one worth remembering. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for all of it. I only wish that there was more. I will miss seeing you light up when you saw my kids each and every time, when you saw Bob, and when you saw me. I will love and miss you always.
Now we're going to play a pre-recorded video that Jerry put together, and it'll also be a video with Craig, the grandson, and also a video with Lexi.
Barbara and I met in 2003. She had friends whose daughter was a close friend of my daughter. And after her husband died in 1995, I guess she went out a number of times. And my wife died in 2000. And I went out a number of times, and we began to get together. And she and I ultimately moved in together after my mother passed away, which was in 2003. And she went to Chicago with me and met my family. And then from then on, she was a part of my family. We traveled a lot over the years. Her family and my family were not as close as it would have been nice to have been, but we were close enough, and we did have lots of interaction. Barbara and I traveled with a variety of different groups, and she was working when we first got together. After a period of time when Fred Miller's organization sold out, she got retired, and from then on she began to play golf and took lessons and loved it. And we traveled all up and down the state, all over the United States, as much as we could. and we got to see different places. We went to a lot of the national parks. We went to San Francisco, Seattle. We went on a trip up to the West Coast to Vancouver. We went a lot of different places, had a lot of wonderful times, and never regretted any minute of it, except this last year and a half have been just absolutely devastating. And she and I had, in this year and a half, unfortunately, lots of warmth because of the awareness that things were not going so well. And then with the coronavirus, that became the capper. And when she contracted the coronavirus, it was Katie bar the door. And for me too, because I think it's caused me to not be able to get up and function like I would like to as well. But I will remember her forever. You'll have to apologize for me. And I just hope that she's in a more comfortable place now. Thank you very much.
This past 10-ish months have been full of disappointment and tragedies, and unfortunately now these tragedies are hitting close to home. Barbara has been a part of my life for the past 18 years, and up until this past year was truly filled with life and laughter.
Barbara has been part of my life the past 11 and has made a big impact on Blake's for the past 2. In fact, since Blake has been able to talk, anytime we used to call Grandpa Jerry or Gigi, Blake would no doubt chime in and ask for Barbara as well. She loved talking to her on FaceTime, and so did we. I always loved the time we spent together and enjoyed our conversations about life, good food, and fashion.
Kara and I both enjoyed all the time we got to spend with Barbara. She had a great personality, could always take a joke, and fit into our family very well. She was always there for my grandpa, and we are going to miss her every day. We will keep her in our hearts, and we will see her name every day for as long as my grandpa pays his Netflix bill.
Blake, say I love you, Barbara.
I love Barbara.
We love you.
Love you.
Hello, my name is Lexi, and I've had the excellent luck of being Jerry's granddaughter and of having Barbara in my life. She has a profound influence on me. She has always shown me love, compassion, and support for which I am eternally grateful. Barbara showed kindness to all people. She was thoughtful, generous with her time and energy, quick to laugh, and made the world around her positively shine. Whether we were sharing dessert and drinking black coffee, exploring somewhere new, or talking about our worlds, Barbara impressed upon me the beauty of her gentle strength, poise, and genuine care that she held in all situations. I will hold her love forever. May she rest peacefully, and may she know the love and memories we carry. Thank you.
Thank you.
What I'm about to say was originally meant as a letter for Eileen, Bob, Susan, Jeffrey, Beth, and of course Jerry, and all the kids. But I have decided to share it with her friends as well. Barbara was definitely a very important part of my life. I first met Barbara in the spring of 1956 at UCLA. I met Stuart through Stan, and he was an usher in our wedding. Our wedding days were within 2 weeks of each other. We were both newlyweds, starting our lives together, going on many double dates for dinner and the movies. And then Stan and I were so excited when Barbara and Stuart moved across the street from us on Anchor Avenue just a few years later. Over the years, our relationship grew stronger. We shared all important occasions and happenings. Barbara and I never missed celebrating our birthdays together up until this past June. I will always remember how put together Barbara was, always immaculate and always wearing a perfectly coordinated outfit. Barbara never missed her standing hair and nail appointments. She never looked ruffled, and heat never bothered her. She was a wonderful cook and enjoyed trying new recipes all the time. Her chocolate cake recipe is still my most favorite. I still remember all the wonderful years at the beach, sharing our house together. We did everything together then. It was fun and a rewarding time for all of us. Our friendship was so special, especially between our families. Not only were we good friends, but our children were also. That was so rewarding. We were one family then. Nothing was ever too hard for your mother. Everything became a challenge until she mastered it. Tennis, the computer, bridge, a new cell phone, every new appliance and gadget, a new car, and lately golf. There was a determination and toughness that I will always admire in Barbara, but she was always supportive and there for me when I needed her. She could remember names and places, and there was never a doubt or question with her. We were thrilled when Jerry became part of her life. He adored your mother and was so encouraging and loving. They traveled together to different places and, of course, played golf. And she used to say to me, he is very patient with my game. She cared for him and always spoke of Jerry in such a loving way. Barbara was such an amazing and dear friend to me and to so many others. She was exceptional and my special friend, and she will be truly missed by all of us.
Okay, you can hear me now, right?
We can, thank you.
Okay. Okay. This is going to be tough. It's with a heavy heart that I remember our friend Barbara. After marriage, we became close friends and more like family. Shared vacations, summer at the beach, wonderful memories that we will always cherish. Over 65 years of friendship. Never to be forgotten. We will miss you, Barb. You will always be in our hearts. All our love and support to the Cowan family and to Jerry for making her later life so wonderful. Rest in peace, Barbara. We love you.
Carol, you gotta mute yourself. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. From the time our first babies were out of the womb, our friendship took off. We had so much in common. Born 4 days apart, both of us were left-handed. We both required lots of time for grooming in the morning. Our hair was always a problem, and our families. We each had a boy and 2 girls, and it went on and on. Each of us struggled with sports. We were never the first ones chosen by teams, but we both learned to participate and to play tennis, loved to golf, and even to ski. For so many years, while our kids grew up, even though so many of our friends lived miles apart, we gathered together during vacation times at Newport Beach, Palm Springs, and Mammoth Mountains to play, ski, and have family fun, always keeping the strong connection of friendship going. We were such a fun-loving, happy group. If 3 or 4 families were planning to gather, 8 or 10 were better. The more the merrier. And the memories remain to support that effort. Barbara always jumped in to planning any adventure and was as fun-loving as anyone. But we all shared each other's triumphs and tragedies and comforted one another along the way. Stuart was a cherished friend, and his death at such an untimely age was a catastrophe for Barbara, as well as her family, and a great loss for their friends. But an indication of her strength of character was clearly visible in the powerful way she took charge of her life. Several years later, when Jerry appeared at a crossroads in Barbara's life, what a godsend that was. It's no secret that some of the happiest and most satisfying years of her existence was spent with Jerry, with whom she adored. And of course, we, Barbara's friends, loved him as well. There was no friend more dependable, reliable, upfront, or loyal than Barbara, always loving and empathetic, willing to help when able. I will always be grateful for that long and beautiful friendship, for the treasured times we spent together. And oh, how she will be missed. Thank you. Thank you.
To the living, death is always a wound. And whether it comes after a lengthy illness or a sudden accident, death is a wound. But death is part of life, just like night is part of day. Just like a fallen leaf belongs to a tree, death is part of life, and it's not our purpose to live forever. There's no added merit if our years are long, but only if they're good. And when you think about Barbara's life, all that was good, all that was kind, all that was nurturing, all that was energetic, we say, may God's name be blessed now and forevermore. Death has summoned your beloved Barbara Cowan. Your souls cry out, what are women? Are they just creatures of dust who return back to the dust from where they came? Our ancient Jewish sages said that the spirit of each and every person is like the light of God, and not even with the darkness of her passing will extinguish the love, the light, the warmth, and the sense of family that she nurtured and created. May God grant you the strength of all generations of our people in the face of bereavement. Have always said, Ananainatam v'nailakach Yehisham anamivarach. Lord has given, the Lord has taken away, but for the gift of her life, for the quality of her years, for the depths of her relationships, we say, may God's name be blessed now and forevermore. We do best honor to our loved ones not by bemoaning they didn't live to be 120, but by being grateful for what we had and what they meant to so many of us. And that is what's really important, is that the memories inspire us. They help to guide us. And her example, when life was difficult, she overcame it. Rabbi Alvin Fine tried to explain what life was, and he said, birth is a beginning, but life is a journey. It's a going, it's a growing from stage to stage. We go from childhood to maturity and from youth to age, from innocence to awareness, from ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion, and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or strength to weakness, from health to sickness, and God willing, back to health again. We go from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, from grief to understanding, and ultimately from fear to faith. Until looking forward or backward, we find that victory in life lies not with possessions, but in having lived life as a sacred journey. Birth was her beginning, life was her journey that all of you shared with her. From birth to life everlasting in the hearts of the people she cherished and who cherished her in return. I'm going to ask the children to rise now as we cut the Kriya ribbons. We say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, v'hayam ha'amet. Praise to the Lord of God who gives us life, and food, and speedily. We weave the fabric of the life. We're never grateful for the fabric of your mom's life. She meant so much to you and to your family. I'd like to ask the rest of you to please rise as well. El Mole Rachamim Shokem Bamromim Hamsei Minucha Nechona Tacha Kanfei Ashachina Lishma Shalach Olamo Barachamim Yitzor B'Tzor Chaim Et Tishmata Anochonata Vainua Pishalom V'Namaromeim. O God is full of compassion, grant perfect rest unto Barbara Cowan, who is departed from this world. Lord of mercy, bring into your presence. Let her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou her possession. May her repose always be one of peace. On page 31 and 32 of your booklet is a prayer called the Mourner's Kaddish. This prayer is written in Aramaic and in Hebrew. And when Jews traditionally hear this prayer, there's a tear in their eye. But the reality is, this is not a prayer about tears. It's a prayer about redirecting our lives to appreciate that our lives are indeed a gift, and we have a choice each and every day. We don't make the choice of whether it's going to rain or have sunshine, but we have a choice of whether we're going to get up in the morning and seize the opportunities and love and live as best we can. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah b'yamad divra kruute v'yamlik machute b'chayachon v'yamachon v'chayet akol Beit Yisrael b'galav yizman kariv v'mrameim yehei shemei rabah mivarach le'olam omayeh omayah Yisparach, Yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, Troman, V'yitnaseh, V'sadar, V'salel, V'salel, Shmei Kodesh Abrichu. Leilam min kol berchata v'shirvata, Tishpahata v'namata, Damiran v'yamav v'mrameim. Yehei shlama rabba min shemai v'chayim, Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'mrameim, Usei shalom b'mramav, Hu yasei shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'mrameim, Usei shalom b'mramav, Hu yasei shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'mrameim. The departed, whom you now remember, your beloved Barbara, has entered the peace of life eternal. Though vanished from your bodily sight, she doesn't cease to be. She abides in the shadow of the Most High and lives on in the hearts of those who loved her. May the beauty, the warmth, the strength, the high ideal she cherished, the love of life that she exuded be for all of you as a loving and a living benediction. May the Father of peace send peace to all of you who mourn. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this now formally concludes the services for today. Thank you so much.